salute them for the last time this season, and David Hirst, whose 31 goals have been such a feature, celebrates with one of the young strikers, Gordon Watson here, who'll be playing a part next year when Wednesday are back in the First Division.
Back in Division 1, Sheffield Wednesday, traditionally one of the top soccer clubs in the country, now with the league status, the players and the pride to prove it. But the return to their rightful place in the world's toughest competition, the English First Division, was clouded in controversy. The man who steered this great club to that win at Wembley and promotion was about to leave Hillsborough. Or was he? Big Ron Atkinson has never, in a long and colourful career, shied away from the bright lights of publicity. But there must have been times in this confusing and rather sorry episode when he wished the ground would swallow him whole.
I went to every game home and away, and it's not just me did that, thousands did that, home and away. They never missed a game. They showed the loyalty. Mr. Atkinson's got a contract to 1993, and I think now is the time that he should show his loyalty to Sheffield Wednesday Football Club.
The man for the job, and he's staying at Hillsborough.
And I started thinking, well, hang on a bit. You know, I've always described this as the best job in the game. I've always felt I got the best job in the game. Why am I suddenly thinking of leaving?
Suddenly the silverware was in danger of losing its shine. The euphoria was tempered with doubt. The most loyal of fans were being put to the sternest test. And even the smiles were strangely suspect. When the dithering ended, Ron Atkinson was on his way to Aston Villa.
I think he's been a bit of a traitor, really. Especially after last week when he said he was going to stay.
I used to consider him an honest man, and now I just have my doubts.
There was some sympathy for his predicament. There was much more evident anger. But mainly, there was confusion. Not for long, though.
Sheffield Wednesday are very pleased to announce the appointment of Mr. Trevor Francis as team manager.
The new boss was, quite simply, made an offer he couldn't refuse.
Well, after the disappointment of Queen's Park Rangers, I wasn't in too much of a hurry to get back into management, but when this became available, I couldn't refuse it. The chairman spoke to me and said, would I be interested? I said, very much so. I felt that I was inheriting from Ron Atkinson a good team. I knew all the players, knew them well, knew the strengths and weaknesses. And Sheffield Wednesday being such a big club, I felt that it was a marvellous opportunity for me to get back into football. I felt that when I came out of it, you know, when I left QPR, I didn't really anticipate joining a First Division club. I thought perhaps I'd get back in the Second Division. But when this, came up, I couldn't say no.
It must have been quite bewildering for the man with TF on his shirt, one of the lads, and then overnight, the man in charge. Respect and trust, though, are hard-earned qualities, and they translate well. And there's that rock of continuity, Richie Barker. Still the boss's right-hand man, and as always, offering wise counsel.
I mean, nothing's changed, really. I mean, we've adopted a little bit more maybe of a relaxed approach to the players, because Trevor was not the boss. He's not someone new coming in. He was someone that they knew and he played with for 18 months. So you can't come in one day and say suddenly, I'm the boss, you call me boss from now on. I mean, he'd played with Viv Anderson in Europe and he'd played with him in the England team. So all of a sudden, and he really diffused that by saying, well, I'm Trevor. If you want to call me Trevor, call me Trevor. The younger players call him boss because that's how they've been brought up with it, with the respect. But he's been Trevor to the players. And I think that relaxed approach calmed everything down. It wasn't a matter of we're going to come in and hit people with a big stick and say we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We had a plan of what we were going to do, the players we wanted, what we needed, we thought we needed to strengthen. And it doesn't matter whether it's Ron Atkinson or Trevor Francis or Alex Ferguson or whatever. People's ideas are different, and that's the beauty of football. And you can't say we've changed anything radically. We've probably changed a lot of things very minutely. But maybe that they've added to something as a whole which has produced something slightly better than it was before.
The transition was smooth. You could hardly see the join between bosses. Perhaps that's an exaggeration. Ron Atkinson never ran this fast. But certainly continuity of style and approach was the firm intention and the success. It's a squad of professionals, each well aware that life at the top will be tough. After 2 decades on the world stage, Trevor Francis knows that better than anyone. And Richie Barker always carries written reminders of the most gruelling training schedules. Hillsborough, the Wembley of the North, an outward calm, in reality far from it.
A famous old football club enduring lean times wins a Wembley Cup final. Promotions then guaranteed with a goal by the club's evergreen former England international in the twilight of his career. Everyone's happy, but suddenly the flamboyant and popular manager quits for another club, becomes public enemy #1 and is replaced by, yes, the evergreen old player. Then when the fixtures for the new season are published, the first game brings the 2 former colleagues face to face again. As they say, football's a funny game.
It's a strange quirk how the other fixtures have thrown us up against Sheffield, but you know, my belief is it's a long season. You play everybody twice, and you know, I don't single out any fixtures out from any other.
Any other game, I wouldn't say that. Slightly different this is because it is a very, very big occasion, but you know, there's only 3 points to be won.
Well, the 2 men's preparation for the new season could scarcely have been different. Atkinson's been totally rebuilding his side, buying 7 new players at a total cost of £4.5 million. Francis has bought just 1 player, Oldham's Paul Warhurst, for an outlay of £750,000. But he hasn't lost anyone from last season either. So he'll be able to rely on 3 men in central positions who served the club so well last season, including skipper Nigel Pearson.
I said how important it was to keep Nigel Pearson here. He proved his value to us last season with a number of goals that he scored and also his defending throughout the season. John Sheridan, I'm looking for John to establish himself this year in the Republic of Ireland team. He's been on the fringe of it, playing on odd games, but I expect him to go on this year and be a regular. And I'll be disappointed at the end of this year if David Hurst isn't a regular in the England team. I feel that he did well during the summer tour in Australia. There's definitely a spot vacant for him alongside Gary Lineker, and he's certainly got the ability and all the assets needed to become an England regular.
Meanwhile, Saturday's game sees the return to Hillsborough of Hurst's former striking partner, the other Atkinson, Dalian.
You know, it's great. It'll be great for us to go away and win. I'd love to do it for the gaffer and for the lads and the club, of course, but I mean, I think a lot of the pressure will be on the boss. I think he'll do well to try to handle it. Hopefully we can ease it a bit by, you know, playing well for him.
And of course it's Big Ron's return that's really whetting the appetite of the fans, even if for once he's not too keen on talking about it.
My main concern at the moment is how good my side is and how good it will be. Those are the things that occupy my thoughts.
What about the reception you're going to get there? It won't be too friendly, I wouldn't think.
I've no idea. I mean, if you're a minder, if you've got a crystal ball and you can tell me, you might tell me the result as well.
And Francis's message for Atkinson?
Still a message for Ron. We've been friends for 20 years.
Disaster. 95 Liverpool fans died on April the 15th, 1989. The majority crushed to death as more and more supporters tried to crowd into the Leppings Lane pens. Lord Justice Taylor carried out the report into the Hillsborough disaster. It's hoped his recommendations will prevent such a tragedy ever happening again. One of those recommendations signals the end of the tradition of standing on the terraces. In less than 10 years' time, all fans will be seated at every British soccer stadium. Sheffield Wednesday began their work 6 months ago. £750,000 has been spent converting the Leppings Lane end, with 2,500 seats where 8,000 fans used to stand. There's been criticism of the reopening of an area where so many died. However, the majority welcome it.
I don't mind the disappearance of the Leppings Lane terrace. I just want to see it used and all the football supporters being able to use it, and it doesn't look a blank space anymore behind the goal, and people remembering permanently every game that they come to.
Do you think this marks the start of a new era for Sheffield Wednesday?
I hope so. I think it's something one will never forget what happened here, but I think one has to put certain things behind you and progress on for the future.
Fans will enter the Leppings Lane terraces, now renamed the Lower West Stand, for the first time in 2 years on Saturday.